Those who died were defamed, as were those who survived, and the city of the team they followed. Institutional failures investigation and the orchestrated cover-up that followed reminded our criminology and law graduates that the process of the law should not be confused with the delivery of justice. It is only the law, and neither the law nor the agencies and professions that apply it are necessarily forces for fairness or for good. They are instruments of power. If we consider their role and their functions historically, they remain as prone as any organisations to incompetence, to exploitation, to partiality, discrimination, even to injustice and cruelty. Nearly 3 long decades on, and 3 decades from when I first met Phil at a hockey match, and he persuaded me to study a master's degree here, a conversation that changed my life. 3 decades on, Hillsborough is now before the criminal courts, and we know the truth. Although Phil is the first to acknowledge the courage and tenacity of the bereaved families and survivors, it is, and I say this as a student of disasters myself, it is no overstatement that without his decades of committed work, supported by his partner Dina, sons Paul and Sean, and his close friends, the eventual successful outcome of this historic campaign would not have been achieved. He has extended that commitment to his work in the north of Ireland on childhood in transition and conflict and the politics of imprisonment. At a time when academics are under pressure to meet short-term targets, the long, grueling overturning of the glaring injustice done to those killed, bereaved or traumatised at Hillsborough, then to be denigrated in its aftermath, has been as important as any work in the history of this university. It offers the most powerful reminder that truth and justice have to be fought for, often over many, many years, and that there is a place for academic researchers at the forefront of those struggles. Vice-Chancellor, colleagues, graduates and guests, it's my great professional and personal privilege to present Phil Scraton for the Award of Honorary Doctor of Philosophy.
Some words. By the authority vested in me as Vice-Chancellor of Edgehill University, I hereby confer the Award of Honorary Doctor of Philosophy upon a long-term friend and colleague, Professor Phil Scraton.
I'm sure you won't mind me spending a second just to gather myself. Pro-Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, Lord Mayor of Liverpool, Edgehill staff, the most important people here, our graduates, and their families and their friends. Thank you so much, Howard. As you heard, former colleague, partner in crime, and it's great to have a tribute that would normally come in an obituary, paid while you're still on your feet, just about. Where to start? When I first came to Edgehill and we set up the centre in what had been used as, I think, an emergency hospital during the war, just where the wonderful new building, the new criminology building is now, where many of you have have studied. Directly opposite was a series of Nissen huts. And those Nissen huts had been put there during the war. I don't know what they had been used for, but Derby Hall was the end hut, and Derby Hall was where our day students, who weren't residents on campus, had their hall. And I had a great honor of being kind of honorary president of that hall. And the only thing I ever stole from Edge Hill, I still have on my desk. It's a piece of the wood from that hall, and every day when I sit at my desk, I remember with great fondness my time here. Over 20 years, my time with, as Howard has already said, with Catherine Chadwick. We set up together the Centre for Studies in Crime and Social Justice. Our combined ages then are less than my age is now. And as Howard very generously said, we pursued the postgraduate program, first doctorates, first master's courses outside of education, and we watched the gradual transition of an institution that was really caught in that moment of transition in the university sector. To walk around the campus today, to see the change in this campus from that time to now is remarkable. Yes, University of the Year, but the substance of the place and the way in which it's been created as a university for teaching, for research, for authorship, for hopes and dreams and futures is just a remarkable tribute to those who've steered the ship. I don't really want to single one person out, but I will. And my friend John Cater, who throughout that time has steered that ship along with those around him. He's done a tremendous job, and it's a university that is quite different to many of the universities that I go to. And it's one that I am really proud to be associated with. It wasn't always like that. When the Hillsborough project first started, and I rooted out some odds and ends, we didn't have a lot of friends. And it's hard to believe now, but the Liverpool Daily Post stated of our first early criticism in our first report, written in 1990, there is little else in the report, meaning our work, which adds to what we already know. It even has the effrontery to question the usefulness of the Lord Justice Taylor report, which was so critical of the South Yorkshire Police, which it wasn't, and cleared the Liverpool fans of the accusations of excessive drinking, which it didn't. And then it goes on to say, it is the usefulness of this report, the first of two by this team of researchers, which should be questioned, particularly as it will cost the city ratepayers £35,000. £35,000 for 96 men, women and children. Many more have died as a consequence of Hillsborough premature deaths. I've said the lesson at so many funerals during that period. Of course, this made a very shaky moment for us in the work that we were doing here. And soon after, I had a memorandum, we didn't have emails in those days, from our then chief executive, who presumed, in her words, that if the personal toll that this work will take is likely to affect your other college commitments, then you will not be proceeding with it. When Howard talked about those lonely moments, that time when we felt that we were really up against it, receiving those kinds of comments, coupled with the death threats aimed at my children by telephone on an ex-directory number, time they went to school, where they went to school, how I walked them to school. They were really low moments. And my colleagues here saw me through those low moments. They stood by me and have continued to stand by me to this day. In the centre, Catherine in particular, Barbara Horton, the centre administrator, we were the first 3 people together when it was set up. And they helped me through. None of us are an island. None of us do it on our own. And obviously, when Dina came to work here as senior lecturer in education, my partner, that period, that growth of the centre, I have to say, was without any question, and I'm not saying it simply because I'm here. People who know me know I don't say things I don't mean. They were the happiest and most incredible days of our lives because we saw an opportunity to develop something that was bigger than Hillsborough in terms of the research, that extended into all our other work. Howard reeled off some of the books, some of the reports, but that also impacted on our teaching. It impacted on our undergraduate teaching and our students and our postgraduate teaching. Over 70 of those people who came through those postgraduate courses in the centre are now working in higher education. Many of them are professors. And that's been a tremendous tribute to the collective responsibility of the extended centre. I just noticed Vicky Kopok there. Another one of those early members who came at the same time as Howard. They were important days because they were days when you had to surmount real opposition to what we were trying to achieve, both outside the academy, but also inside the broader academy. Edge Hill wasn't a university in its own right. It depended on Lancaster University for its degrees. And the way in which Edge Hill was policed at that time, and I remember being in some of those negotiations, was a very difficult period behind the scenes. And to see the place now, to see what has grown from that, to see how the defiance of being able to say, no, we're going to do it our way. We're going to be a university in our own right. We're going to bring our own students in our own right. We're going to award our own degrees, from undergraduate degrees through to doctorates. That transition is remarkable. The physical manifestation we can see when we walk outside. But it's more the intellectual manifestation that I'm really concerned with. The richness of how many of your graduates have gone through this institution and who've gained so much from being here and being with what is a remarkably stable staff. I don't mean stable in the other sense of the word. I think that one of the issues that I found at the time was the way the institution responded across the board. Some of the people I became most friendly with were porters, cleaners, people who came here early in the morning, who were here at weekends. One slight, I suppose, it's a divergence, was the day that Catherine and I went up to Edinburgh to do the work on prisons with our students. Inside prisons for a week, we promised people we'd bring them back. And we arrived in the minibus. And in the back of the minibus, we found, I suppose it was a glass container, like an aquarium, with massive snails inside it. We were staying near the Scottish Prison Service headquarters, where there's beautiful long grass, and we're prison abolitionists. We released the snails out into the open. When we got back and we went to the porter's lodge, the first question was, did you find in the boot any snails? Yeah. Thank goodness. That was, I can't remember his name, it was Dr. somebody's special project. They're rare African snails. I said, well, they're all mating just outside Edinburgh at the moment. There's going to be a hybrid that nobody will ever be able to understand where that came from. They were the kind of moments, the moments of humour amidst that catalogue of pain and hurt. The families coming here to what was then the senior common room for evening meetings. The families desperate for that support. They first came here soon after the disaster, but also other families from other disasters. The disaster research group, which included Dunblane families, Marchioness families. And that was the development that we were all and each committed to. But as I said, nobody is an island. I couldn't have done it without my family. I couldn't have done it without my friends. And they are standing here now at this minute with me, particularly my long-suffering partner, Dr. Dina Hayden, who made such a contribution to this university herself. However, it's about you guys. This is really not my day. I'm very proud to be here. I'm very proud to be standing in front of people who maybe quoted from my work, maybe misquoted from my work. But I want to say it's as simple as this. When I went to Liverpool University, I was the first in my family to go to university. I was told before I went that it was basically a waste of time. My father told me to go out and get a proper job. My mum stood by me. I went to university and I came through, and at the very end, at this very moment, when I said to one of my senior colleagues, or one of the senior lecturers, what I wanted to do and what my ambition was, which was to be a researcher, he laughed. He laughed and he said, "No, Phil, research isn't for you." In the same way as I'd been told before that university wasn't for me. I don't have any kind of false pride now looking back and think, well, I did it my way and it worked. But what I will say to all of you, and I mean it sincerely, is that if I could do it, if I could go through that university experience, and whatever comes to you now in your lives, whether you go on to do further work in higher education, whatever you choose to do, never, ever be told that you're not worthy. Never, ever be told that you're not good enough. Never, ever be told that whatever your chosen path is, isn't for the likes of you. If I can stand here now, after all this time, and I can stand over what has been, I hope, a career that's made a difference to others, so can you. So can each and one of you. Today is your celebration. I'm very grateful for being brought into the heart of it, but it's your celebration. None of you are here without the support of these guys. Mums, dads, partners, brothers, sisters, sons, daughters. That support is what gets us through. That support is which takes us on. Our friendship groups, our families, and sincerity. And as I say, if I can be that person who I hardly recognize when Howard makes that speech, so can you. Never, ever allow the systems that you go into to knock you back. It's a tremendous achievement what you've done over the last 3 years, some maybe longer. And you always must remember that the future is yours, despite all of the constraints of the present period of time that we live in. The future is yours. You make your future and wear your degree proudly. I am proud to be part of this, and I'm proud to share it with you. And I know that my partner, my family, all of those with whom I'm associated will back that up. I might be standing here, but I'm standing in their presence. Without them, I wouldn't be here. And you know that in terms of your own experience. I hope everything goes well for you, and I hope that in the future, the things that you wish for will be the things that you realize. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Vice-Chancellor, on behalf of Academic Board, I present students from the Faculty of Arts and Sciences who are candidates for awards today. For defending the body of published work collectively entitled Broad-Based Community Organising in the UK, Reimagining Politics Through the Prism of Civil Society, I present Paul Bunyan. For the degree of Master of Laws by Research, Monica Ava Lynch. Shabnam Razia. For the degree of Master of Research in Childhood and Youth, Katie Louise Kelly. For the degree of Master of Research in Criminology, Sharon Louise Dickinson. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Childhood and Youth Studies, Holly Bamber. Abigail Grace Battersby. Libby Brown. Laura Louise Drew. Amanda Duckworth. Chloe Elizabeth Goddard. Natalie Jane Grimes. Amy Henderson. Elizabeth Emma Hughes. Lisa Michelle Lancaster. Charlotte Rose Livesey. Sophie Emma Margolis. Jordan Annie McLaughlin. Natasha Eleanor Moore. Georgia Maria Murphy. Shannon Jade Parkinson. Nicole Louise Alice Partington. Humaira Banu Patel. Abigail Mary Smith. Amy Leighton Sullivan. Laura Jane Tierney. Elizabeth Clare Ward. Emily Wycherley. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Childhood and Youth Studies and Criminology, Stephanie Bradshaw. Aisha Paris Cannon. Amanda Jessica Klingane. Demi Keeley Flowers. Chelsea Rose Evelyn Hartley. Gemma Louise Haywood. Ashley Dawn Marie McDade. Alicia Margaret McGann. Catherine Elizabeth Noble. Jane Ann Reed. Nathan Owen Riley. Amy Elizabeth Thoburn. Keris May Williams. Elizabeth Amy Wright. Catherine Haley Yates. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Childhood and Youth Studies and Sociology, Niall James Astbury. Shauna Jane Grace. Emma Mary Horton. Eleanor Alice Maguire. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Criminology and Criminal Justice, Lindsay Alexander. Haroon Ali. Sarah Nicola Ball. Sophie Lee Ball. Bethan Barrow. Courtney Elizabeth Bestwick. Paige Rebecca Bowden. Danielle Jade Byrne. Eleanor Caitlin Chambers. Carla Louise Cleary. Abigail Rose Collishaw. Lauren Jade Coyle. Holly Jane Crabtree. Coral Victoria Davenport. Wesley Michael Davies. Oliver Rose Dauber. Rachel Joanne Donnellan. Olivia Taylor Doyle. Adam John Durham. Abigail Edwards. Victoria Elizabeth Brennan Ellison. Bethany Emma Gainford. Bethany Jane Gaskell. China Lee Gresley Jones. Lauren Rebecca Hamill. Nicole Lauren Hennifer. Katie Hunt. Kieran Peter George Jenks. Amy Louise Johns. Ashley Eleanor Jones. Jasmine Mary Ann Jane Jones. Shannon Lee Kelly. Monica Elspieta Ksiazek. Tegan Lockett. Rebecca Jane McBrearty. Sarah Jane McIntosh. Rachel Louise McMaureen. Thomas George McQuaid. Kira Michelle O'Mahony. Courtney Joe Oddy. Rabia Hina Jabin Qureshi. Eleanor Grace Rhodes. Adam Jonathan Roberts. Sally Jane Roberts. Davy Lee Roder. Chancey Adele Rogan. Lydia Marie Rooney. Olivia Charlotte Sharples. Nuria Gisela Rees Simoesh. Joy Christina Spratt. Natalie Lauren Stocks. Megan Jane Treble. Bethan May Van Hussey. Amy May Wales. Holly Jennifer Walker. Lauren Colette Ward. Sean Anthony Mark Whitehead. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Criminology and Sociology, Natasha Kaylee Burke. Amber Louise Carlin. Lauren Victoria Dearden. Michael Christopher Eccleston. Lee Rebecca Hill. Kira Teresa McGee. Daniel Joel Maher. Chloe Mulholland. Ashley Bernadette Perry. Jessica Lee Poland. Chloe Rolfe. Olivia Sierakiewicz. Darcy Page Southern. Amy Teenby. Niamh Vivian Thompson. Sarah Jane Thompson Mayers. Amy Lee Tunstall. Freya Jane Young. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Criminology with Law, Chloe Harriet Ackerley. Marie Claire Metcalf. Faye Louisa Simcock.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Early Childhood Studies, Michelle Louise Aris. Rachel Armstrong. Anisha Kieran Corbaines. Jodie Lee Bassnett. Chloe Ann Billum. Emily Charlotte Booth. Sinead Catherine Burns. Dawn Carol Chadwick. Keris Coyle. Alice Deakin. Sophie Shauna Dilworth. Shannon Marie Honora Doherty. Robin Leanne Fletcher. Beth Howitt. Stephanie Jane Irvine. Bethany Joanne Diane Jordan. Emma Jane Lane. Amira Moore. Charlotte Lucy Peck. Jojo Eugenie Perry. Felicity May Skillen. Nicole Thompson. Erica Caitlin Ward. Molly Catherine Waring. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts with honours in Early Childhood Studies and Sociology, Lauren Hallard. Beth Hughes. Amy Catherine McLaughlin. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts with honours in Sociology, Georgia Susan Aindow. Abigail Rose Orty. Kelly Danuta Bowen. Chuk Man Chow. Grace Ellen Din. Ellie Taylor Duncan. Ashlyn Louise Ellis. Rachel Amanda Ezzedine. Leona Jane Ford. Amber Teresa Froese. Leela Gibbons. Elliot Harvey. Ifat Hussain. Sophie Rebecca Jones. Carla Francesca Lee. Daniela Katie Alexandra Marsh. Kirsty Mary McGarry. Liam Douglas Paulowski. Hannah Pinder. Kelsey Plevin. Sophie Catherine Smith. Jack Christopher Topping. Hannah Victoria Whiting. Jessica Louise Wood. For the degree of Bachelor of Laws with honours, Laura Louise Allen. Sarah Bacchus. Matthew Jamie Blakely. Louis Joseph Blanchard. Jeffrey Grant Brown. Megan Burgess. Georgina Suzanne Butler. Nissia Campbell. Jamie Robert Carrington. Natasha Cave. Shannon Louise Clark. Catherine Ann Clues. Darren Michael Coker. Danielle Louise Collins. Christina Victoria Colwell. Olivia Harriet Dawson. Holly Elizabeth Devlin. Carl Anthony Disley. Michael James Dixon. Bethany Nicola Fellows. Daniel Jonathan James Fielding. Owen Ford. Alana Sophie Fowkes. Andrada Alexandra Glica. Gemma Hankin. David Sean Hart. Gemma Jane Horrocks. Kaylee Rose Judge. James Cunningham Kelly. Kudzai Kowo. Leona Annette Malone. Faye Matthias. Holly Jane McIndoe. Rasheen Louise McNulty. Toluwani Mary Obadon. Angela Phillips. Sarah Jane Pryor. Rebecca Jo Pybus. Jessica Kate Robinson. Caitlin Rose Rogers. Abu Bakar Sadiq. Robert Patra Sessions. Amy Louise Sherman. Cameron Richard McDonough Stubbs. Danielle Ashley Taylor. Joshua Peter Taylor. Matthew Paul Thomas. Thomas Morgan Tunney. Beth Ward. Holly Amy Wilkinson. Katie Louise Witterick. For Bachelor of Laws with honours in law with criminology, Raya Abdella. Eleanor Ruth Groves. Ella Louise Heath. Megan Louise McHugh. Katie Annie Minnie. Laura Ann Phillips. Maya Elizabeth Pierce. Eleanor Sophie Roscoe. Chloe Emma Wilkinson. Chloe Nicole Young. For the degree of Bachelor of Laws with honours in law with politics, Emily Louise Bibby. Adam John Blundell. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Childhood and Youth Studies and Criminology, Jessica Helen Neeson. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Criminology and Criminal Justice, Connor Michael Jones. Heather Louise Sullivan. For the degree of Bachelor of Laws in Law with Criminology, Janine Louise Knox. Vice-Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of students from the Faculty of Arts and Sciences.
Lots of loud applause, but nobody's got a degree yet. A few words. By the authority vested in me as Vice-Chancellor of Edgehill University, I hereby confer the Edgehill University Awards for which you have been presented, and I congratulate you all. Hats in the air. Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, with a song for our graduating class of 2018, will you please welcome Miss Lucy McHale.
Will you remember me? It's a deep and endless night. You gave me everything you had. Oh, you gave me light. And I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you by. Weep not for the memories. I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you by. Weep not for the memories.
Thank you very much, Lucy. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the ceremony, ladies and gentlemen. Quite decent audience participation. Took you a while to warm up, but it got better as we went on. Can I point you now to the central campus where the refreshments are available to you? Please have a safe journey home. And I now declare that this congregation is closed.